Monica, daughter of the Venetian commander Casabrig, is found by her father, Homo embrace her stepmother Chris. The offended and jealous parent, in order to avoid further trouble, sent the nymphomaniac girl to a boarding school run by nuns and located in central Italy on the occasion of the transfer by rail. Monica is taken over by the greedy Sister Nana and Sister Emanuelle, a sophisticated mulatto who has just come back from immoral experiences. The two uninhibited attitude of the collegiate awaken memories and feeling in the religious that are not sufficiently redeemed by the habit, so that before reaching their destination, Sister Emanuelle has the opportunity to construct murky fantasies about Monica's stay in the boarding school and to attribute to her a relationship with her companion Anna Celestini and the haunted brigand Rene. No one suspects the transformation that took place in this way in the soul of Sister Emanuelle, who, however, after having handed over the new student to her sisters, takes back her civilian cloth and goes back along the street from which she had come in search of redemption. Renouncing her sinful past, Emanuelle has entered a convent and has dedicated herself to a life of service. Enter Monica, the free-spirited, free-loving daughter of a wealthy baron. Emanuelle is charged with keeping Monica in line. But when the young girl's wild ways bring back memory of her own sensual past, Emanuelle begins questioning her own religious and love identity. Advances from an escape killer who is hiding in the convent serve to complicate matter further. There is a lot of variety in the Emanuelle series, and as such, a lot of strange and rather silly ideas. But having Laura Jamesa dress up as a nun and living in a convent is surely one of the silliest. I'd even go as far as to say that this plot could be considered blasphemous. Clearly, this film is just an attempt by director Giuseppe Vari to cash in on both the Emanuelle series and the nunsploitation wave in one fell swoop, and as is the case with a lot of the Emanuelle flick, the only thing that really ties this film to the rest of the series is the lovely leading lady Laura Jamesa. Apparently, Emanuelle has decided to renounce her seedy past and has taken up residency inside a convent. She is given the task of looking after the young and beautiful Monica, a girl who was dropped off at the convent by her wealthy father. However, it's not long before the young girl's outlook on life begins to rub off on the previously promiscuous nun, and Emanuelle begins to question whether or not being a woman of God is actually a suitable career path. In the context of the rest of the series, and considering that there is no explanation for Emanuelle's sudden change of attitude, it has to be said that the plotline feature in this film is absurdly ridiculous. However, the film clearly isn't meant to be looked at that way and as a stand-alone nunsploitation flick. Sister Emanuelle is excellent, and by far my favorite of the 10 or so Emanuelle flick that I have seen. The film does represent a real change of pace for the series as for most of the film. Emanuelle is retracted to a nun's habit and doesn't feature in as many love scenes as we are used to. That isn't a big problem, however, as this time Laura Jamesa is joined by the beautiful Swiss actress Monica Janji, who pretty much take up the lead role. Unlike most Emanuelle film also, this one actually has a couple of themes going on, namely the corruption of innocence and judging by the ambiguous ending. There also seems to be something in there about how a person like Emanuelle is not going to be able to abandon what it is she stands for. Overall, this is a very good little film and come highly recommended to both Emanuelle fan and exploitation fan in general. In a real change of pace for the Black Emanuelle series, Emanuelle has become a nun and has been put in charge of a naughty teenage vixen who is being escorted to a convent school. After her father catches her in bed with her young stepmother. While Emanuelle tried to morally straighten out the girl tried to immorally straighten out every guy she met and to corrupt the nun. You can pretty much guess who wins this contest, especially since Sister Emanuelle turned out to be much more corrupt than the girl to begin with. This movie was not directed by Jody Amato but fits right in with the transgressive film he directed in the series in that it managed to combine nunsploitation with schoolgirl exploitation. I might point out though that the voluptuous Monica Janji is not especially believable as a schoolgirl, and the svelte and lovely Laura Jamser is not even remotely believable as a nun. So I think we are pretty safely ensconced in the world of fantasy here. The two actresses are a pretty incendiary combination and downright explosive when you add in Italian bomb Durs Fanari as the stepmother. Along with Emanuelle the Queen, this probably has the strongest plot of any film in the series, and unlike that one, doesn't fall apart in the end. It does fall back on a hoary old glitch in the finale, but it actually works here because it leaves it pretty ambiguous whether all the degradation we have witnessed really exists in the heart of the girl or the nun. It's also pretty well made. For instance, there is a memorable scene where the girl talks in voice over about having been loved by 3 guys on the beach, while the visual flashbacks show what really happened. Everyone's favorite nymphette has renounced her deviant romantic past and has become a nun. Emanuelle traveled to Venice to meet with a wealthy baron. The baron has become enraged with his daughter, who was caught having an affair with her stepmother. He asked Emanuelle to bring his perverse teenage daughter back to her convent. Doesn't this already sound like the greatest film ever made? It's definitely one of the best Emanuelle films ever made. What a perfect place for the Emanuelle character to end up in a convent. And what a great direction for this series to take. Emanuelle turned to God. But Emanuelle isn't sure if she wants God in her heart. Emanuelle becomes seduced by the teenage girl. On top of all this love tension, Emanuelle and Monica take in an escaped murderer. They both fall in love with him and hide him out inside the convent. This also has to be one of the funniest Emanuelle films in the series. For example, one of the nuns in the convent has a bladder problem. One night, Emanuelle shower and run through the hall of the convent. However, when Sister Superior finds water all over the floor, she blames the sister with the bladder problem. On a final note, Laura Jamser is as beautiful as ever. James is to the Emanuelle series what Sean Connery is to the James Bond series. Simply the best.